How do you start the creative process? When you want to make a sculpture, where do you start?
Anything goes, anything goes. I just have to find something that attracts me. And well, the other day I started with a piece of clay. It was not regular clay, it was earthware, what do you call it? Earthware, with the grains and texture in it already. So already you roll that around, and already you know, the touch on your fingers and looking at it, and I already had the desire to start, but not to do something, just to touch it and roll it and do something. But start, it's not really a start.
Well, was that a beginning? Was that a beginning?
Yeah, it was. It turned out to be a beginning. But I don't come one day in the studio saying, okay, now I'm going to start a sculpture, and I'm going to make a, you know, whatever, a form, a shape. No, it's never like that.
So you don't start out with a little drawing or an idea of a concept? Or?
Well, I do little drawings.
Yeah.
Well, like that, but it stops very fast. If I do the drawings, after 15 minutes of doodling around on the piece of paper, then it goes nowhere. I try to see ideas, turning it around and in another way. It doesn't work, and then very soon, I have the desire to touch something and see what it looks like in 3 dimensions and in material, not just a visual of an idea, you know.
Yeah.
So the drawing, I don't even know why I do it. I do it, well, maybe because I had thought of things, but it stops there. I can't go any further.
But is it like a trigger that gets the process going?
No.
What is the trigger?
When I do the drawings, it's that I know that I'm in need of working. I have to work, and I have not worked maybe for a little while, and then you know, maybe I think it will accelerate things of doing little drawings, but then very soon it's useless. From the drawing, I cannot really put my heart in it or desire. You know, it doesn't trigger the desire. Whereas as soon as I decide, okay, I'm not going to go anywhere with the drawing, I'm going to touch something, stone, wood, clay, you know, the other day it was clay. As soon as I start that, I don't know what I will do, but it triggers the desire, a very strong desire.
So it's a process. You're not going towards a defined goal when you start a sculpture. It's a process that involves you and the material you're working with.
Yeah,
how does that work?
Well, the material triggers the desire. I think the main process of creation is the desire. You know, I don't know the word. Desire is a word, but there will be another that I might come up with. I think the main process of creation is to have that élan. How do you say that in English?
That excitement, that drive.
The drive, yeah. And this is the main thing. Yeah. And for me, it is not triggered by thought or drawing. It is triggered by touch and look and weight, and it's triggered by that. Once it is triggered, I can do anything.
Would you say it's physical, it's tactile?
Yeah, tactile, but also physical, you know, the sense of the view, of the sight.
Yeah. Sensory.
Sensory.
Yeah.
It is sensory.
Yeah.
But also even the weight.
Yeah.
You know, I would not have that feeling with styrofoam.
Right. But the final result comes out of a process that involves you and in contact with the material, and not the realization of an idea.
Oh, absolutely not. No. And the desire that comes with the contact with the material.
Yeah.
Then it evolves between me and the material, and it becomes something tangible, concrete, object. You know, sculpture.
Yeah.
But this is by evolution together. But the first, you say, how do you start? So that's the answer to that precise question. It starts with the starting of the drive, desire, the drive. And then anything is possible. You know, the thing that started that process could fall and break, and then if the process is in me already, I would make something with broken pieces and put them together, add something. It doesn't matter. The process is on the road.
Yeah. Well, it seems to be almost like a dialogue or a conversation between you and the materials you're using. You know, what's the role? I mean, we can imagine your role as an artist, but what is the role of the material itself in this conversation? Does it guide you to some extent?
Well, it's the main actor.
Yeah.
It's the main actor. In fact, what I'm doing maybe is to emphasize some characteristics of the material, of the material that is in it already. And my role is only to see it, to be touched by it, and then what comes out when I say, okay, this is a sculpture at the end of the process, what comes out is what was already in the material, but that I just put more visible, more emphasized, obvious, more in light. See, that's all.
That reminds me of Michelangelo's famous saying that the form was in the marble already and he merely liberated it. Do you feel that you're doing that to some extent?
No, I understand what he's saying because he believed in the form. This is not the way. Well, I'm not Michelangelo, and also what touches me much more than the form is the material itself. You know, make it sensitive. More than the form. It could be kind of any form, but I understand what he says, because what he says about the form, because this was his thing, you know, this is what he was looking for, the perfect harmony, balance, equilibrium of form and expression and all that. What he was looking for, it was in the material, because he took it out, he took it out of the material by cleaning the material, finding this in it. I understand that. What I find in the material is not the form, but it's also what I'm looking for, which is not the same thing as he was looking for. But what I am looking for, I find it in it too. It's already in it, but it's not the form. It's not the form.
Yeah.
That's the only difference.
Well, I guess the difference.
No, the difference is
he had a precise idea of the form that he wanted to extract from the stone.
Yeah,
he knew
right.
he knew he was going to do the Pietà.
Yeah, exactly.
And whereas
exactly.
your process is
but
not quite
that's
that.
Even for him, it's a secondary thing, because the main thing of the Pietà is some correlation or exchange between him and the piece of marble that he wanted to work, and the feeling he had for the subject and for that beautiful marble.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not to go on and on with a comparison between you and Michelangelo, but it's an interesting example of a process that's similar and different. And I want to go back to the notion of form, because somebody like Michelangelo, a more classical sculptor, would have an idea of the image, of the form, and even of the message and the feelings that he wanted to convey before he started to release that from the marble or whatever the matter is. What is your relationship to form, to the final result of your work in terms of
the final result? No, but it's not the same thing. Your question, I don't quite understand.
Well, the question is,
because the final result and the form are not necessarily the same thing.
Well, what is the importance of form? First of all, the notion of form going into your process, and then how maybe form evolves during your process and to a final result.
It's ever present, obviously. Anything concrete, anything material has a form, so it's ever present. But my intervention is not with the goal of finding the perfect form. The form is secondary to texture or touch for me. But it's just personal, it's just my approach.